In this video, we're covering what you need to know to rent an apartment here in Austin, Texas. Well, pretty much anywhere in Texas. And we're getting into that right now. If this is your first time tuning into the channel, my name is Marcus Jordan, a real estate agent with the Premises Place Group, brokered by eXp Realty, and I help businesses find office space and I help people find apartments and investments. If this is information that can be helpful to you either now or in the future, then go ahead and subscribe below, tap the bell for notifications so you can be the first to know about the current market in Austin, Texas. All right, jumping right into it. What you need to know when renting an apartment in Austin, Texas. I wanted to do a full video because we did a short a day or two ago and it actually did 2,000 views in a day. So it's like, we only gave 3 topics there. Why don't we go ahead and cover the gamut? So that's what we're jumping into. Now, the first thing that you have to know when you're looking for an apartment in Austin, Texas is that pricing changes daily. Sometimes it'll change every other day, sometimes, maybe a couple days, but you have to know that prices change every single day. They change often. So if you take a look at a price of a unit on a Tuesday and you look back again on a Saturday, it's probably going to be different. So that is completely normal here in Austin. So that's the first thing you have to know. It changes daily. The second thing I want you to know is that the price of an apartment unit is going to be based on your actual move-in day. So let's say you want to move in January 3rd, right? Well, if you look at a price for a January 3rd move-in, but then you change it to say January 27th, that price is probably going to change, even if it's for the same unit. Okay, so know that going in that your move-in date is one of the determinants of what your actual monthly price is going to be, amongst other factors, which takes us to another step. Number 3, your price is going to be determined by your lease term. That's right. So if you're looking at an apartment for 6 months, that's going to be a different price than if you have an 8-month lease. And that's going to be different than if you have a 12-month lease. That's going to be different if you have a 15-month lease and an 18-month lease. So in addition to the move-in date, your lease term is going to determine your monthly price for the apartment as well. The fourth thing that we want to touch on is your price is also going to be based on the time of year that you move in. Right? I'm doing like this because of scaling calendar, right? So if you move in, say, during the summertime, that's going to be a different price range than if you move in the wintertime. So if you're looking at fall, that's going to be different than if you moved in spring, because most people typically move during warm weather, spring, summer, compared to fall, winter, which is also, holidays and things like that. That's also going to impact what you pay every single month. So knowing the time of year that you move is also going to be an additional item or additional consideration when you're looking at apartments and when to move in. Another reason why this is also impactful is because when you're actually moving on an apartment, it's based on supply and demand. So if you have more people moving in the summertime, that's why the price is probably going to be a little bit higher. If you have less people moving, which is typically in the winter or holidays and things like that, that's why the prices are a little bit lowish. So understand that pricing not only is based on the things that we covered here, but it's also based on supply and demand. The more apartments you have in one area, then you may have a little bit more of a break with pricing. You go to another area where there aren't that many apartments, price is probably going to be a little bit higher. So understand that supply and demand determine the price of your apartment as well. Let's go into the next consideration. In most cases, your monthly price is going to be specific to a particular unit. So what do I mean? So let's say you're taking a look at an A2 floor plan and you liked unit 0001. And you're like, okay, hey, this is pretty cool. Let me think about it. I don't know if I really want to do it, but someone else goes and takes it. And so when you go back and you look and you see 001 is gone, you look at 0007. It's still an A2 floor plan, but that price may be different. Even though it's the same floor plan, the prices are typically aligned to the unit. Now, it could be for a variety of reasons, right? It could be that A2 floor plan is in a different part of the building. Maybe one has a view, maybe one has a yard, maybe one has a walkout balcony, but another one just has a Juliet balcony. All of those different factors can impact that particular unit being a different price, even though it's the same floor plan. So know that going in. The next consideration is if you are looking at a unit that you like or you want to move forward with, the way that you are able to actually claim it is that you have to take it off the market. And the way that you take it off the market is actually going to vary depending on which apartment property you go to. So that could be just applying for the unit, but also paying an application fee. Maybe it's applying for the unit and paying an application and an admin fee. And in some cases, you have to apply for the unit, pay the admin fee, application fee, plus a deposit in order to take it off the market. So you have to inquire with that property what it takes to take that unit off of the market so that it can actually be yours. Most cases with apartments here in the state, they cannot hold it for you. You have to apply for it, because that takes us to the next consideration, and that is your apartment is going to be first come, first serve here in Texas. So that means if you looked at an apartment today, you want to go home and think about it, and someone comes in 5 minutes after you and they grab it, it's theirs. First come, first serve. So know that if you are taking a look at a unit that you're interested in or that you want to move forward with, my recommendation is if it's nice enough to you at that time, go ahead and take it, because if someone comes in, the apartment property is probably going to lease it to them. Know that going in. The next thing is when qualifying for an apartment, they're going to require that you show proof of funds or the ability to pay for the apartment for the entire lease term. So that means they may ask you for pay stubs, but they have to be within 60 days. Maybe, or if you're starting a new job, they're going to ask for the offer letter, and the offer letter has to have the date that you start at that job. If you don't have either one of those, they may ask for investments or statements of assets so they can see what's coming in and that you actually have the means to pay for that unit. So if they ask you for that, they're not picking on you. That is standard. That is common. So have that paperwork ready, or be able to show how you can pay for the unit, because they're going to ask for it anyway. And lastly, most properties will require that you make a multiple of the monthly rent for your gross income. Let me reword that. Let me say that again. That probably sounded confusing. They will require that your income, your gross income that you make from your job, your investments, what have you, or the job that you're going to take, that income has to be a multiple per month of the rent that's being requested for the unit. So if you're looking at an apartment and it's $2,000 a month, most times they're going to ask for a 3x multiple. So you're going to need to make $6,000 a month before taxes. 3x is typically the average that I've seen. However, I've seen 3.5 before, 3.5x, and that typically means you're probably looking at like a Class A plus building or property. But I've also seen 2.5 multiples, and that probably puts you at around a Class C property. But I've also seen 1x multiple, and those are typically going to be like your income base or your tax credit property. So they're going to have income restrictions if you see like a 1x multiple. But be sure that you know what the multiple is when you're looking at apartments, because they all vary. It's based on the property and the apartment unit that you're looking at. So make sure you ask that property what their multiple is, so that you can double check that you already meet that qualification before you spend any money on the application fee, admin fee, or the deposit. That just saves you a couple of bucks. So that's about it. I know we ran through a couple of considerations. We ran through a couple of points there, but my intent is that it's been helpful. It gives you additional clarity when you're doing your apartment search, whether you're doing it on your own, if you're working with another apartment locator, or if you're working with me. I hope that this has been helpful for you to plan your next steps and what you want to do and how you should do it and what you probably want to have in order before going and taking a look at apartments here in Austin, Texas. If this has been helpful, please go ahead and give it a like, go ahead and subscribe. If you have any comments, I'd love to hear back from you. If there's anything that I missed that you'd love to hear, let me know in the comments below, and I'll do my best to include it on a future video. So with that, thank you so much for your time, and I will see you on the next one.